quite enough for you to be able to hear. A lot of times games, the lowest of sound is still too loud, but
Once upon a
we'll see.
time, the infamous rover Reynardo plundered the floating isles. Then his mother called him to her deathbed. "Swear to me that you won't die on the gallows," she rasped. Reluctantly, he swore. And he whiled away his days at home with music, cards, and wine. But the Emperor had changed. He'd been good once, a shy, almost humble toad. He'd built universities. Then people started whispering about mass graves in the woods, midnight rituals, victims screaming. The Imperial Ravens would round up entire villages, and no one ever returned. The Ravens had come to Ubar scouting for ancient books said to be of great power. But the librarians had hidden the books, so they'd burnt the librarians. The citizens, outraged, had driven them off. The Ravens had come back with dropships. The kid had fled with one of those books. He was brave and dumb and wanted to join the rebellion. And Reynardo had promised his mother he'd protect him.
That seemed to escalate pretty quickly. Not sure what to talk about while it's loading. You can probably hear the bell going off from my cat who's right here scratching.
The kid was looking down, watching his city burn. "Sorry, kid," Reynardo told the kid. "Look, if we give them the book, they'll leave you alone." "My mother died for this book!" "I promised her I'd protect you." Oh, damn it. The kid had run off. With the book, of course. So Reynardo had to run after him.
Alright, so it's current objective, protect Peter. So it's a above view, kind of third person, I guess.
The two ravens were staring at the kid like he was their dinner, which probably was what was in their tiny brains. "Hey," Reynardo said. They cocked their heads at him. "Pick on someone as ugly as you." Wait, that didn't come out right. "For the Emperor!" The ravens cawed and rushed at him.
So I picture this as like Fantastic Mr. Fox in a war. When an enemy is about to attack, looks like you can interrupt any other action. Looks like you counter them by pointing to them and then hitting the attack button. Basic enough. I hope there's like hidden areas. I always find those interesting in games.
A dropship flew overhead. He hoped they hadn't noticed him. The kid.
I don't know why he ran off anyways. Alright, hold square to grab. Then you aim and you release square to throw.
Oh, right. The Gate of Heroes. Someone's idea of a joke, making the skyship docks a gated community. You needed a hero's sword to open it. And the kid was on the other side of the gate. Who let you through? Promise me you'll take the book to the rebels, or I'm gonna steal your ship. I'm not taking that damn book anywhere, and neither are you. Try and stop me, laughed the kid. I bet you don't even have a hero sword. And with that, the kid hopped away. Had to hand it to the kid. He was an idiot, but he had guts. Where was Renato going to get a hero sword?
From this treasure chest.
Ore and wind essence? That sounds about right.
We're gonna create it.
I'll need a workshop, though. Perfect.
So I like that they have a crafting system in here, even if it is basic. This is the sword crafting menu. Here you can craft and upgrade powerful magic swords. Gather the required materials from the chest scattered throughout Boreas. The selected sword's current level and special power. The selected sword's special power at the next level. The resource needed to upgrade the selected sword. You have enough resources. Craft your first sword now. So current level, not crafted yet. Collect the required materials to craft this sword. Next level, level 1. Look badass. Cost to craft sword, 3 ore.
A hero sword. QED.
Let's look at the other swords. We have a Void Blade, a Wither Thorn, Winter Thorn, Firestorm, and then the Hero Sword. I like the Winter Thorn. Alright. There doesn't appear to be a jump button.
This is what he got for settling down and finding people to care about. The kid's mum had been a swell cook, and she'd laughed at Renato's jokes, even when he didn't know he'd made one. And then the ravens had come to burn her. And she'd made him promise to protect the kid. But she never told him where the book was. Just the kid.
Still hoping to find...
Came up to a ledge. It was too far to jump. There'd been a bridge here before, hadn't there? And there was Peter, giggling at him. How'd you get across? He asked the kid. Where'd you find a hook? I hopped, said the kid. Wise-ass kid. Hey, look out behind you! Q, said Renato. Ah, ravens.
Alright, let's see if this will work. Yeah. Seems like the easiest move in the game.
It was time to talk some sense into the kid. Just hook his way across the ledge and chase the kid down. Thing was, he hadn't used his hook since he'd retired. How had he done it? Maybe if he meditated at that altar there, he'd remember his old skills.
Use the altar to learn new skills. Here you can find the description of each skill and its unlocked requirements. You have skill points to spend. Go and buy the hook skill.
It was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot, like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember.
Posts can be hooked in order to cross gaps. Press triangle to hook posts, or to pull enemies towards you.
And there was the Farfarer. She was the fastest ship he'd ever known. She could do the Kester run in 12 furlongs. Oh, so the salesman told him. And something told him the kid was about to walk into an ambush. Stop! He shouted. I'm not giving you the book! Shouted the kid, and took off. No! Peter! But the kid ran for it. And a goggler nailed him with its eye beam.
I think it should be fine if the kid already has a hero sword and made those jumps that you had to use a hook shot for. It's made out of meat.
The book was unburned. Next to
Dang.
it were buckles from the kid's shoes and a kid-sized pile of ashes. Damn it. Why hadn't he lied and told the kid he'd take the book to the rebels? The kid would be alive now. Really pissed
Murdering
off,
kids already.
betrayed, but alive. Oh, damn it. Renato picked up the book. He couldn't let the Empire have it now. He was going to have to get it out of there. He'd be a wanted man. Probably have to join the rebellion just to have a place to dock. Well, he'd hated home life anyway.
Alright, we got some more ore.
What was the big deal about this book anyway?
And then we lost that ore.
Maybe he should open it and find out. All that had been years ago. How many? War was a blur. And now 3 Raven scout ships were chasing him. Where are you running, rebel? Called the Raven captain over the loudhailer. Renato could see them cranking up their catapults. Just going out for Bill? Renato yelled back. Where can you run? Laughed at the Raven horribly. Far behind him, another city was burning. The dark cloud above its island was powerful and huge ships. The fleet was doing a thorough job. Take us to the rebel base! I will spare your lives! The entire jury-rigged rebel fleet was only a few islands to the east. Beyond that were only the pillars of heaven. A sea of endless blood-colored tornadoes. The rebellion was out of time. Unless Renato could bring a game-changer. Maybe he could. Renato had found out where he could find the pieces of the Sky Ripper, the legendary weapon that had exiled the lost gods. Surely a legendary weapon would win the final battle. On the other hand, his own friend Pino had sent Renato a desperate message saying he had a brilliant scheme to save the rebellion. If Renato could only rescue him. Renato dived the Farfarer towards the abyss. As he felt the heat of the jet stream, the Raven ships peeled off, not stable enough to follow him down there. Now it was time to choose. Pino or the Sky River.
You can't make new old friends or build the Sky Ripper. Let's get another person for our ship.
The Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble given time, but he was out of time. The Ravens had figured out that Lapino was a rebel spy. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse.
So to me it seems like cutscene music can never be changed. All the games that I play, the cutscenes always have a lot louder music than the actual gameplay, even though the setting's on one.
Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen a winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens? If I craft a sword now, it's going to be really short.
So we can do the next hero sword if we get enough ore. Or we need fire, water, or more wind. The graphics kind of remind me of Spyro.
Renato wondered what would happen if he jumped. Would he be rescued by an emergency platform?
Well, it doesn't allow me, so I guess we'll never know.
The ravens had taken the town. Renato had seen villages emptied like this. All the people taken away to be sacrificed in the Emperor's secret rituals. Renato hoped the people were just hiding. Renato's blood was up. He just needed to smash something.
Wonder what this does.
He wasn't that good. Yet.
Alright, we have 0 skill points. And it looks like the next one we're going to get is dash, because you can't unlock any of these other ones without dash.
Can't we just agree to disagree? Said Renato. No? Ravens were landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino. Where had the mad rabbit got to?
I got an achievement just for spinning in a circle. It's called Spin to Win.
Have you ever felt you were just going round in circles? Bernardo felt like that.
I was actually hoping to go back since we leveled up and see if I can get the skill point. I like the size of the levels, but it feels kind of empty.
Who leaves these chests everywhere? Wondered Renato. I should send them a thank you note.
So we got 1 fire and 1 water. We need 9 more of each.
It was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot. Like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember. don't have anyone to talk to.
Looks like we're ending our graveyard. Right, so we have perfect strike, attack immediately when the previous attack hits to land a perfect strike, bonus damage, and double combo bonus. Slow down time after successful counter until your next action. Take a breather and plan your next move. Countering an attack now causes damage. Increase your maximum health. Run faster. So after we reveal truths, then these levels unlock. Looks like you need the Void Blade for this one. There's a big treasure chest on the other side as well. So you probably replay these levels quite often.
Renato had learned so much. It was time to turn it into something he could use.
Alright. I think we want to do aggressive defense, because countering an attack now causes damage. You can just counter all day and kill the bad guys. And countering is probably going to be a big part of the whole game, because I see it used in bosses a lot. Not in this game, but
Dirty and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, see, this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer and, oh, his only daughter. That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power.
I say we go to the Sky Ripper, because I don't picture her putting up a, not putting up a fight the whole game.
To make the Sky Ripper, the Transcendent Emperor had wrapped an armature around the eye of a god. Bernardo had already let that armature slip away to save Lapino's life. But even its core, the eye torn from a god, surely they could fashion a great weapon from that. The core of the Sky Ripper? Lapino's excited. That's an actual thing that we can just go and get. You've been busy. He sure had. Renato told him all the things he'd been up to. Soon they got to talking about old times, about wages they'd won and lost, and scrapes they'd barely got out of. It was good to be back with his friend. Renato grinned. He had a very good feeling about this.
So I wonder what good our friend will do, if he does anything at all.
It's beautiful here, thought Renato. He was thrilled to be back with his old war buddy. He missed the mad rabbit, but something was not quite right.
Chapter 2. I have a bad feeling about this.
needed bridges anyway.
So it just takes us back to where we were. Maybe we should have stayed up there. There's something big up here. That's my guess. Maybe a bird. Saw a nest back there.
I wonder what I could make with all these sword crafting materials, thought Renato.
So I have enough to make the next sword.
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
Got another fire essence. We now have 2 wind, 2 fire, 1 water, and 39 ore.
Where did that go to? Renato felt wrong all over. He could feel an almost palpable sickness in the air. And if the land could have tumors, they would look like these monstrous crystals. The forest was quieter than it had been. There were insects, but few birds, if you didn't count the ravens. Renato smelled sick animals and dying ones. No healthy ones. And getting a bad feeling about this, Renato thought. Maybe Lapina was right. Maybe they should have kidnapped Zenobia instead of coming here.
No. I think we're helping the land by removing it. Okay, so we're almost up to the next one. If you look at the top, we'll get another point. And there's going to be enemies with shields coming up. You can tell from the talent tree. It said shield hooking.
Come over here.
I didn't know they could run that far. I have died. Alright. Let's try that again.
It was good to practice your moves, thought Renato. Keep Keeps you limber.
Alright, so we need to find some health. This looks like the eye we're looking for.
As he held the radiant icosahedron, Renato felt queasy. Like dozens of tiny worms were nibbling his insides. It wasn't healthy to be so close to the eye of a god. How could he use it? He could take it to the observatory. The scientists there could tell him how to harness its ancient power. But honestly, Renato ached to get away from it. He brought the core back with him to the Farfarer. But honestly, Renato ached to be rid of it. Tell you what, said Lupino. I'll take it to the observatory. You attack the Imperial outpost. The Imperial outpost was a vital communications node. Taking it could shatter the Empire's ability to coordinate. And it would be full of secret plans and maps and maybe even rebel prisoners. It was a good target for a hero like Renato. But what if Lupino got the core and then broke it or lost it? Or worse, was Renato ready to take that risk? Maybe it was better if he brought the core to the scientists himself.
No, I'll trust my friend.
Trust me, Renato, you won't regret this. I'll treat the core like it was my own baby daughter. As the Farfarer dived towards the Nexus, Lupino was jumping up and down with excitement. Stop rabbiting around,
Maybe he'll sell
Renato
it.
said. Lupino just stared at him. The moment the ship landed, Lupino leapt off the ship.
I thought we could drop the core onto the outpost itself, since it does destruction. Those gems and whatnot.
As Lupino vanished into the wilds of the Nexus, Renato vaguely remembered Lupino had a baby daughter, didn't he? And he told her mother he was going out to get some Easter eggs, and he'd never come back. But Renato was relieved not to carry the core anymore. He was already feeling better. And who knows, maybe this time Lupino would get it right. And if Renato could take the outpost, he'd have access to all the Empire's communications in the sector. Right? Imagine if you built a house on one of these things. Oh, that would be amazing. It would be like having a boat.
A boat. Alright, so that looks like the way to continue. So we're going to go this way.
What else could you hook?
Alright. We also need to find a weapon crafting booth or whatever it was called. I think it was called a work booth. Avoid the Warlock's fire spell. It will damage everyone in the area once it explodes. There we go, got another level up. Guess we can't go back.
Renato caught his breath. His joints still hurt, but he couldn't feel the poison in his system anymore. He'd let the armature slip out of his hands to save his friend Lupino. Of course he had to let Lupino take the core. The rebellion needed every man doing his duty. And the rabbit would be no good taking on an Imperial outpost, right? A crafting bench. Renato wondered what he could make with it.
Alright, so we can make a fire sword. Excalibur? No. To activate magic swords, hold R2. Swords consume energy while activated, and we can switch our swords. Okay. We don't have enough core for... Let's see. What does it take to make gems? Gem socketing. This is a gem socketing menu. Here you can equip powerful gems that will augment both your offensive and defensive capabilities. Your gauntlet has 3 sockets into which you can put gems. Select one of the sockets to see your gems. Each gem has 3 levels, and its effect increases with each level. Picking up a gem you already have will automatically upgrade that gem's level. You can find gems in the chests scattered throughout Boreas if you're lucky enough. So we don't have any right now. I bet those red.
Renato took the outpost with a song in his heart. Soon he was stuffing his sack with key messages from and to the fleet. One message caught his attention. A high priority order has been given by the Emperor himself to locate something called the Iblis Stone. It was somewhere on a desert island. Renato had a bad feeling about this. Iblis was the name of one of the lost gods. If the Emperor was diverting ravens to search for it, maybe he should try to find it first. Then the Farspeaker Toad chortled a new message. The observatory had been sacked by ravens. Lupino and all the scientists had been taken to the mountains. Why? Why had he trusted Lupino again? And now the Empire had the core. Renato hailed the rebel base to warn them. But their Farspeaker didn't crouch back. Was the base under attack too? going on at the base. But he knew what the Ravens would do to Lupino if Renato didn't rescue him fast. What are old friends for, if not to need rescuing every few days?
I'm not sure what kind of
Renato
consequences
felt
my
a
actions are
twinge of
having in this
doubt.
game.
Should he have gone to the base? No. Logically, wherever they'd taken Lupino was probably where they took the core, right? Oh, why couldn't Lupino have just, for once, not got himself captured? Was that too much to ask? He shouldn't be too hard on the rabbit. No, he meant well, and he was insanely brave. You had to admire that. There had to be something useful in these things, didn't there?
Alright, so we got more. Alright, so we got more core. Reminds me kind of the Stanley Parable.
This would be the perfect place for a tic-tac-toe board.
There's so many ways and paths. I'm not sure which ones lead where.
Welcome to Earth. Renato told the corpses. It was something he'd seen in a play once. Lupino anyway. There was no sign of him or the Ravens who'd captured him. Just rocks and snow and the usual scouts. No sign of the core either. Was this a wild rabbit chase? Oh, trust Lupino to screw up even getting captured. But what was this rebellion for anyway? Well, Lupino was a useless goof. But he was a friend. If friends didn't matter anymore, what was the point of winning this war?
We're passing a lot of stuff.
Renato's paws were getting numb. Calaveras really didn't want company, did he?
Got another achievement. Anger management. Wonder if I can light these. Nope.
lever? That was new. Most people still use doorknobs. Renato thought about the intel he'd gathered from the outpost. Who would he bring it to? Who even had time to read it?
I was hoping there'd be some water or essence in here. It doesn't appear to be.
At the end of the mountain path, Renato came to a clearing. There was a campfire, raven feathers, and... oh, Lupino's lucky deck of cards. Well, that wasn't good. Renato hoped Lupino would not try to cheat his captors at cards. Ravens were much better than weasels at counting, and they had a very poor sense of humor. Then, he saw what he had hoped never to see. Fresh scraps of rabbit fur. Ragged and bloody, ravens would eat anything. By Crabthar's hammer! Renato screamed at the sky. I will avenge you! The rebels had assembled their fleet. Ahead, the clouds were dark with Imperial ships. If he could reach the Emperor before the rest of the rebels did, maybe he could settle this without too much bloodshed. He set sail, and the Farfarer shot forward. Poor Lupino had never been a great warrior. The mad rabbit was good for a lark and a laugh. And a pint. The thought of ravens eating him made Renato furious. The way they were eating up the land. The way the Emperor was eating up the people with his new, bloodthirsty ways. He would make them all pay.
Alright. So we don't have that sword.
Renato felt like he was ready to learn new things. Thank goodness he didn't have to go to school for that.
25 health would be quite a difference. Oh, we still got one more. Just looking around at what different combos we have. True Sword Fu. Attack enemies at any distance. Auto activates when reaching a certain combat threshold.
He'd missed his old skills. He welcomed them back like it was at a reunion.
Alright.
outfoxed.
Alright, so I don't think we want to go there yet. Can we get back? No, we can't. Alright. For a minute there, I thought we were stuck.
He was practically sure he'd find something useful in one of these things.
At least some health would be nice. But to no avail.
That was always a rush.
See, I knew the health would come in handy.
There was an inscription on the platform. Balaleka lessons, with an address.
Alright, if you give me a moment, guys, I have my laptop up over here. I can actually read your comments this time.
He had given up every objective to save his friend. He had given up the armature, the core, the gem, and even Zenobia. He loved Lupino, he realized. Now the rabbit was gone. A hero looks out for his friends, even when they're gone. He would send Lupino an honor guard of ravens to serve him in the halls of the Valiant. He would avenge him.
Alright. Can we destroy these candles?
Bernardo felt a little better.
Yeah, 15 health. Alright. Looks like we're going to be stuck at 5 health for most of this game. If there was a boss coming up, that'd be terrible. Shield grunts will block your attacks. Grab and throw another grunt into him, and his shield will be knocked away.
Finally, he reached the Emperor's ship. And there was Lapino, surrounded by ravens. He was alive. They'd eaten some other rabbit. "I'll save you!" He shouted with joy and flung himself at the ravens. "Oh, you shouldn't have," said Lapino when the last raven was down. Renato threw his arms around his best friend. "I had to come.
I think the rabbit's the bad guy.
Love you, man. You really, really shouldn't have," said Lapino. And Renato felt a rather sharp pain in his back. As he collapsed, Lapino took the dagger out of Renato's back and wiped it off on Renato's sleeve. "Why, you always have to be the hero. Brave Renato, epic Renato, super sexy Renato. I'm sick of it. But I loved you." "And you thought I was the idiot," said Lapino as Renato died. Okay, that was weird. He could have sworn he just died. Instead, he was on the Farfarer, sailing away from Ubar. And it was still burning. He'd fled burning Ubar years ago, hadn't he? And now he was back there. Had all those years fighting the Empire been nothing but a vision into the future? A useful vision if it was true. He'd learned something. Lapino was a traitor. Renato had suspected there was something wrong with the Mad Rabbit. But now he knew there was malice behind his goofiness.
Alright, so that's the first story completed. Story number 3, Grabthar's Hammer. What kind of hero are you? A hero who places friendship above all else. And we get 5 win essence from that. And we revealed the new truth. Lapino is a traitor. The reward, tier 2 skills unlocked. New location unlocked. Desert Temple. Alright. Looks like there's a cat. There's that item that they were going after. And that's if we take the first.
He'd made bad choices. But now, when the real battle came, he wouldn't make those choices. He wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The book's pages began to flip backwards, towards the beginning. And he realized that his adventure was just beginning.
I wonder what happens if you do the same one twice.
Over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis Stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Reynardo. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Reynardo had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Reynardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Let's build the
Every child
Sky
knew about
Ripper.
the Sky Ripper. The Transcendent Emperor had buried its pieces. What could have brought them to light? This Emperor, Isengrim III, had once been kind, but he'd gone mad. And now he was conducting secret, obscene rituals to bring back the lost gods. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the earth? It was more than Reynardo could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it.
So I wonder if there's a real path, one that leads to victory, rather than me getting killed over and over again.
As he set foot on the island, Reynardo couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lapino still waiting to be rescued? Nah, he was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne? Did rabbits? Reynardo felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Reynardo never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Sky Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
There's a lot of ore chests here.
You know, ore is pretty heavy to carry. You know what's not? A new sword.
So we have enough for another sword. I think it's a new hero sword, maybe. Let's take a look. So we can upgrade our Firestorm, or we can upgrade our Hero Sword. We're going to upgrade this one because it also allows to heal oneself.
His trusty old sword was always a little better when he sharpened it.
Of course, we were pretty close to having enough wind essence with the Void Blade as well.
Two eyes good. One eye dead. The people who had built this castle, did they even know what monstrous weapon lay hidden within their walls? The Sky Ripper could destroy anything it touched, or so the legend said. As the Transcendent Emperor had fought the lost gods, thousands had died. But Reynardo had been through wars. The only merciful war was a short one.
Can't tell if that's like somebody's body or what. So we have 2 skill points. We have shield hooking. Hooking a shield-wielding enemy will rip away its shield, leaving him vulnerable. Could come in handy. Dash through enemies. Target an enemy with dash to move through him and cause damage. Does not work on shield-wielding enemies. Attack enemies at any distance. Auto-activates when reaching a certain combo threshold. We can drop that down to 20 right now. Slows down time after successful attack until your next action. Impale your enemy on your sword when you grab him to cause damage. Well, if you're grabbing him, normally you're doing that to throw him off.
Nice. That could be useful.
Let's read the ice one for this. So that's us getting health back.
Ravens didn't smell any better dead, Renata thought.
So we have 9 wind essence right now. Found a scroll as well. The truth behind the Sky Ripper is shrouded in thick fog. The most believable tale is that the Transcendent Emperor has used the Sky Ripper to banish Iblis. Then the TE buried the weapon and vanished. Was it a self-imposed exile to rid the world of its last divine presence, or was it the price to pay for using such tremendous power? Could the Sky Ripper and Iblis have a deeper connection than just a weapon and its victim? My ritual will summon the Iblis stone. Perhaps I should worry that they will also cause the Sky Ripper to resurface. If that is the case, I should spare no resources to find it. A weapon that can banish a god is an invaluable bargaining chip should the old ones decide to double-cross me. It is in their nature to try, but gods are predictable, and I can rely on that to always be one step ahead. Emperor Isengrim III, Secret Journal.
Hero wall. Hero sword. Ice wall. Ice cube.
I like what he did there.
These things could really use a hand.
So many jokes.
wasn't making a dent in those shields. About ravens was they never dropped any loot, and no one ever wanted the feathers.
Alright, so we got a puzzle game. Let's check this stuff out first. This is the wrong sword? Oh, there we go. I was about to say.
What's there? Really looking for another line of work, he thought.
Trying to grab them, it's difficult when they hit you as soon as you grab the other guy. Let's go back and get it. There we go. What do we get for this? I will get this first.
Oh, sweet! A gem.
Yeah, so we got
All
a
he
gem.
needed now was a workbench, and he could slot it into his gauntlet. That had been his mistake before, trusting his old friend Lapino, who had been through so many battles with him and shared so many heartaches, who he'd rescued so many times. What was up with that guy anyway?
I don't know why you brought that up. I think we skipped past the other puzzle.
There it was. Skyripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway. The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist. But first, he'd get the second piece. Sky Ripper had a heart, a core that had come to rest in the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But
So that's the second truth.
Now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him. It was a no-brainer. He'd sacrificed his old friend Lapino to get the armature. And the armature was useless by itself, only a series of coils and wheels. War demanded sacrifices, and he would make more before the end. He would have to choose the greatest good, no matter how much it cost him. Zenobia. Well, he would see her sooner or later, across a battlefield or a sword's point before all this was over. He was sure of that. The power was in the core. Obviously, he had to get the core. Doubt sunk in before he was even out of sight of the Farfarer. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? It was the sort of path he'd always avoided. The path of responsibility, of seriousness. Had he grown up? He didn't feel grown up. He'd made this decision from his gut, like he always did. Somehow, he'd impulsively decided to stop being impulsive. Did that make any sense? The waterfall was spectacular. Well, you had to enjoy these things as they came. We pass this way but once.
It's kind of funny since this game's being played over and over. Alright, so we can equip a gem now. Said to increase the chance of rare loot by 1%. So I wonder what percent we're at now. Is it 1%? Or is there already a percentage? There we go. Now that chest down there we can't get to because that's part of the down there, I think.
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time. Renato, smash! You almost never saw wild gogglers together like this. The toads had to train them not to peck each other to death. Well, these had to be Imperial gogglers. That meant ravens were up ahead.
I guess we can't grab them like normal. Oh yeah, we can.
He wished there were more pylons he could use the hook on. He really needed to construct additional pylons.
There we go.
There were fewer and fewer trees. There were only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals of the forest, the mice and rabbits. Where had they gone? And he was getting hungry too. This was an unhealthy place to be.
Indeed.
Bernardo hoped this portal had been inspected recently.
I keep wanting to hit the button to block. Got another gem. Attack speed.
Of course there was a puzzle. You couldn't expect the transcendent emperor to bury a god's eye in a leather sack where anyone could pick it up. This couldn't be good for global warming.
Alright, got one skill. We use it on this. Then we only have 10 combo thresholds. Of course, we can up our health as well, which I think we should do.
Fresh meat!
Alright. So now we have both pieces. I think this is the other
The
truth.
20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark arts, and he hadn't liked what he smelt and saw there. This felt like that. As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow. The sick feeling quickly spun away. Now he only felt sad. He had lost good friends for this war apparatus. Maybe Lapino wasn't such a good friend. Yeah, that made him feel better. He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now, he had to make his next move. There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, Well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first. There was an observatory on the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it.
We went to both of these, I believe.
Reynardo had never been much of a student. At Swordfu school, he'd never read the books, just looked at the pictures. And Zenobia. But weapons he understood. His gut told him that the Skyripper would work great. He would use it to take out the Imperial outpost. And what's the worst that could happen? The thing wouldn't work, and then he'd take it to the scientists. Right? Exactly.
Well, even if it just does nothing, then the worst it could do is help the enemy out, right?
As he set out down the path, Reynardo wondered why the parts of the Skyripper had only surfaced now, thousands of years after the Transcendent Emperor had discarded it. This Emperor, Isengrim III, had performed terrible, bloodthirsty rituals to invoke the lost gods. Perhaps that was bringing up lost artifacts. How perfect, then, that the Skyripper would reappear to be his destruction. What were these poles, exactly? Parking meters from the time of the lost gods?
Don't grab him for some reason. That was weird.
These platforms were great. Reynardo wanted one for his house.
I like how parts of the story stay true no matter what, such as talking about the house and those platforms.
Barely landed a claw on him. He was tired of slaughtering ravens. Maybe it was time to test out the new weapon. He turned a knob on the Skyripper. It made strange, mechanical noises. The wheels spun faster. It began to hum.
The Skyripper was following his every step. At least it acknowledged him as the master. But there was no trigger. How was he supposed to fire it? Fire, he said. Nothing happened. Well, maybe it just needed to warm up. After all, it hadn't been fired in thousands of years.
Well, better to get the kinks out now than later on down the road.
Hey! Hey, a workbench! He could try out his new bling.
Alright, let's increase our attack speed. So we got a fire guy. Watch out for explosive ravens. When hit or thrown, they will explode after a few seconds. Use them to your advantage. So now it's working.
The Sky Ripper was making a whining noise now, and its wheels were spinning so fast he could no longer see them.
Bernardo had a thought. Please? He asked. The Sky Ripper began to glow. Boom! The outpost burst into flame.
Ravens flapped out screaming,
He's gonna
wings on
die with
fire.
it.
The base was his. The far speaker toad came hopping out. Reynardo! It croaked, sounding like a toad version of Zenobia. Don't use the Sky Ripper. It will destroy the world. Yeah, sure it will, cracked Reynardo. Pull the other one. If you don't trust me, go see Calaveras. He'll tell you the same thing. Oh, she would say that. That sounded sensible. Why did she always have to sound sensible all the time? Oh, it was infuriating.
Of course she would say that. He was supposed to hurry and bring the Sky Ripper to the council so the rebels could actually win the war. But what if she was right? Damn it.
I say we take the chance.
Just this once, he would not let Zenobia get into his head with her logic and her wisdom and her appeals to reason. He was a fox. He'd go with his instincts, and it would all work out like it always did. Oh, he was sounding like a reckless idiot, even to himself. But if there was one thing Reynardo could never bring himself to do, it was turn back on a decision he'd made.
Alright, let's do this. Let's win a war.
Imperials were flapping and cawing all around the ruins. They must be panicking with rumors flying of the superweapon. Maybe they hoped to find and destroy the base before he could put the Sky Ripper into action. The Sky Ripper was whining and heating up. It would be time to use that energy soon.
Alright. Let's do the hooking shield so we don't have to use those guys anymore. Alright, we're gonna go back this way. We're gonna use this door. The hero door. He was trying to trick us. Using the hero door, since we'd already have it. Now we just need 17 more, I think. 17 more ore. This last one just won't go down. There we go.
Reynardo had always wanted a flying carpet. This was more like a flying tabletop, but it would do.
So we have 59 ore. We actually have enough for the next fire one. But I don't know if I want to do that. Because in just 11 more, or we'll have the void blade. We can open all those void doors and steal all those void treasures.
You guys ever learned to swing dance? Oh, well, too late.
Alright. Down to 7 more ore. Just one more. Do you guys remember that one in the beginning? The one that I missed? There's a treasure over here. Maybe this will be enough. We can't go back though.
Talking about this was a fantastic weapon. Ravens burst into flames with just a touch of its killer beam. He was tempted to leave it on all the time, but he didn't want to accidentally slice off some council toad's head or tongue. She'd been trying to distract him. Well, this time, no one was going to distract him.
Now that we have the gate down, let's go chop some more of these guys.
Hey, why don't you guys fight in groups? Oh, I know. Because there's no I in team.
Hilarious. I don't know why I like killing all of them. You just got an achievement closing your eye.
The long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good.
That was awesome!
Looks like something big, maybe? No, it's just unlocking. Would've been cool to have a big boss come out, though. Maybe he had to run into these things. So you have him chasing you, and then you dodge out of the way.
Ice walls only let you through if they knew you were cool.
We're going on National Treasure.
Chamber, Renato felt everyone watching him.
You've saved the rebellion, said the council speaker. Frankly, we were afraid you'd turn aside to save that idiot Lapino.
Not bloody likely, Renato told them, feeling he was maybe being a bit harsh in the poor mad rabbit.
If you never make sacrifices, he said, you're probably not doing the right thing. The speaker nodded. Are you ready to lead the charge? Let's roll, he said, with grim satisfaction. Renato set sail for the fleet. The Sky Ripper had lost its wine. It was humming now, as if it had taken some time to seat properly. He had always been irresponsible. This time, he'd done the right thing, made the hard decisions. He was a real hero. He hadn't let himself be distracted by old friends or old lovers turned enemies. Finally, he could be proud of himself.
So the other one, the girl, was good once and then turned bad, like the rabbit. Based off what he said.
He was ready. So was Sky Ripper. The Sky Ripper had a will of its own. It picked out its own targets and set them on fire. This was going to be a short battle. He would set the ships on fire if he didn't need them to get to the Emperor. And he wondered if he'd see Zenobia, or if she'd flee. Wouldn't she be proud of him? At least, a bit of respect. He'd become an all-conquering hero.
So we can make the Void Blade now. Which we're gonna do.
This sword from the mystical East could make time itself slow for you.
Increase movement and attack speed. It's a lot of ore for the next one. Playing on the same levels makes me have deja vu. But at least we can use these doors now.
The sword from the East made you so fast you could catch a fly with your chopsticks. If that's what you really wanted. Magical jewel. Bernardo couldn't wait to find a workbench.
We actually don't need one. Because that leveled up the one we currently have already. Maybe I missed something. Oh, there we go. The ships.
He'd once met a pirate captain who used hooks to get around his ship. Oh, what was his name again?
I would guess Foxbeard.
There was a boost. It was from her. Every time you fire, you risk the destruction of the universe. That's insane. We surrender. A trick? Maybe she really believed it. He could hear horns blaring the retreat. Maybe it was true. Maybe they had one.
I highly doubt it.
Oh, good! I need a new rug for me nest, said the lead raven.
A very clever engineer named Elon Muskrat had got his start making floating platforms. Not many people knew that.
So last time we only had 5 health at this point. Now we have 100. We had more, but I was too much in a hurry. I think we went down on that ship last time, the one over on this side. Enchanters can buff and heal enemies. Buffed ravens are very dangerous.
And there was Zenobia, wearing the white robes of surrender.
She's no
She
Carmelita.
came and kneeled before him. Why didn't you listen to me? I was trying to save you too. You're the enemy, you said. I was never your enemy, Renato. Then she spoke a terrible word and made a gesture with her hand. She stopped moving, covered in frost, and he wondered why she'd frozen herself. Then the Sky Ripper froze, and then, for a moment, he felt very cold and discovered that he couldn't move. The next thing he knew, the sun was a giant, monstrously red. It took up half the sky, and he was in a parched red desert. And then, he was on fire.
Renato stared at the book. He was still alive. Again. And still only flying away from burning Ubar. Had he lived that adventure? Or only dreamt it? Had he really died? It felt so real, not like a dream at all. And he'd lost again. Oh, he hated that. But he had made different choices. And he'd lost in a different way. It was the book, wasn't it? Oracles showed you your destiny. But this was showing him different ways he could die miserably. Thanks a bunch, book, he thought. But these were destinies that he did not have to fulfill. But he'd learn another true thing. Zenobia still had feelings for him.
New story completed. Story 7. Renardo Newcomb. What kind of hero are you? A hero who does not let anything get in the way of his mission. +5 fire essence. New truth revealed. Zenobia has feelings for Renardo. Tier 3 skills unlocked. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it at that. We have 2 stories out of 24 done. I'll definitely be playing this on another episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.